All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, guys. This video is going to be about tanking, and I really want to hear your guys' opinions. First off, all the time, but especially in this video, I want to hear what Rockets fans really have to say about this, guys. But before we get into this video, if you enjoy it, hit the like button, hit that sub button, do this every day. I also have a Houston Rockets daily channel where I have began to start posting on it daily, and this summer should be daily. I'll still post Rocket stuff on this main channel, obviously daily, but that's for like my OG hardcore Rockets guys that really want to dig deep into the team every day, a few times a day. So I got this comment from a guy named James, and he's a subscriber of mine, and I think he brings up a really, really, really solid point, or at least something to at least think about, marinate in our brains, because it's a decent point. It's a decent point. And if it's not a decent point, it's something to at least keep an eye on in case it does get to that point. So I'll just go ahead and read the full comment here. Basically, what James said is, I hate saying it, but I think we should trade Wood if we end up drafting anyone but Cade. I'm not sure Wood can coexist with Mobley, and if we get Suggs, Green, or our picks falls out of the top 4, we're going to suck again next year and should lean into tanking again since we own our own pick. We should call the Wiz about Rui or Denny, or the Celtics about Robert and Peyton and a couple other picks. Now, I don't want to get into trade packages here, whether or not you like the Rui and Denny package and the Wilson and Peyton package. That's up to you, because personally I'm not a fan of either, even if it wasn't just trading away Christian Wood. That's just not who I would want. Those aren't the pieces I would want. Robert Williams is adult. Those are cool basketball players, but not for me. So this is super interesting because we've talked about this a lot. We've talked a lot about just not the concept of tanking next season, but the idea of trading away Wood. And it's a really, really interesting hypothetical, is if we get anybody but Cade, how are they going to fit onto this roster? Now, every player that's projected to go top 4 has their own strength. Cade Cunningham is an absolute beast. There is nobody like Cade Cunningham in basketball, and there's not many basketball players that exist like Cade Cunningham. You have a 6'8" point guard who can shoot over 40% on catch and shoot threes. He's just a solid 3-point shooter. Now, he is a little inefficient with 2-point scoring, especially at that mid-range, but these are things you can polish in the NBA. He's a solid defender, and like I said, man, he's 6'8". He's a 6'8" point guard who can shoot. It's crazy. Now, I made a whole video about Jalen Green. I wouldn't be upset. Whoever the Rockets draft, I say this in every video I make where I'm talking about the draft, any player the Rockets draft, I'm going to like them, because I'm not the GM. I don't know what these guys see in them. There's so much more that goes into it than just the eye test of me, a casual NBA fan, a casual fan, especially of college basketball, that I've watched maybe 2 games of last season, and they were both Loyola Chicago, the school I go to. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a beast at predicting, who's a stud and who's not. But when you have a top pick in a draft, I've always been a fan of drafting over player skill and not need. I think drafting out of need is how you screw yourself. It's how you screw a franchise. It's just, the Warriors could have LaMelo Ball right now. If the Warriors didn't draft out of position and they just drafted out of skill, they would have LaMelo Ball on their team right now. And if you're a Warriors fan, and I like James Wiseman, I think he's got a good NBA career ahead of him, but LaMelo Ball, dude, there's no way you can argue to me that the Warriors got a better pick in James Wiseman than LaMelo Ball. There is no way, shape, or form, no matter if Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are there for the next 10 seasons, LaMelo Ball was the guy. You know what I'm saying? LaMelo is the guy. So when you have a skill player like Cade Cunningham come into the draft, for some reason, if he falls out of 1 and we don't have the first pick, trade up immediately. Number 2, actually, just in general, if we don't have that first pick in the draft, I would trade up. That's another thing I don't think a lot of us are talking about is if we still manage to get a top 4 pick, say we're 2 or 3, draft night, before draft night, try and get that first pick, man, because it depends on who is first. It really depends a lot on who's first, but you might as well send in a trade. But, guys, the point I'm trying to get at is if you have a skilled player like Cade Cunningham, you could hate Cade as much as you want. He needs to be picked up. If he's on the board, he needs to be picked up because he's a 6'8" point guard who had a good NBA or a good college basketball career who I think skills will translate just fine in the NBA. Keep in mind, Luka was a horrible three-point shooter when he first came to the NBA. While he isn't an elite three-point shooter, he gets the job done. So going back to what James said here is he said if we don't get Cade, we should trade Wood. Now, I'm not fully on board with trading away Christian Wood at the second of the lottery balls don't fall in our favor. I do want to see how free agency goes. I would not mind listening to offers in free agency, but I don't think anyone will strike while the iron's hot. Christian Wood's value could be at an all-time high, or it could be not even at the ceiling yet. We're not sure. This is a gamble you need to take, but Christian Wood, to me, he's shown enough flash, he's shown enough potential to play for this basketball team next season. And so no matter who we draft, Suggs, Green, or we fall out of the top 4, I still want to see Christian Wood in a Houston Rockets uniform for the first game of the season, regardless of what happens. Now, that's when you can start to get into, all right, maybe we pick up Jalen Suggs. And obviously, guys, Jalen Suggs is not a shooter. He's not a shooter. He gets other guys involved. He's got a decent mid-range, plays off ball very well. That's what Suggs does. As far as immediate impact goes, I don't know if Jalen Suggs would provide immediate impact for us to be like significant playoff contenders. However, I still want to remain hopeful that all those top 4 picks can help us. But say we get Suggs, say we get Green. I'm a little bit more hopeful for Green because I think he could come into the NBA and put up at least 15 points per game. And I could see Jalen Green being very similar to Anthony Edwards, especially the way their NBA season's going to start or NBA career. I think Jalen Green's NBA career might start off a little bit slow, and you might start to wonder, why did we get this streaky shooter? And then it's going to pick up at the end of the season, and he's going to start to do other things. He's going to start to develop his game, and you're going to be like, that's why we got Jalen Green. So I'm a little more hopeful with Jalen, but Suggs, I can see it. Mobley, I can see it. You know, the fear part of my brain can see it with all these players. But for return on Christian Wood, I would not be okay with Rui and Denny and a couple of picks. I wouldn't be happy with Robert and Peyton and a couple of picks. Christian Wood's averaging about 21 and 10 right now, and next season I expect him to take a leap. Whether it's defensively or even just more statistically based, I know Christian Wood will make a leap, and he's going to be a much more polished NBA player. He's going to be 26. He's going to be at that perfect, like, Julius Randle range. You know he's been working on his game. You know he wants to win. It's not more of, like, the value. It's more of, Robert Williams paid a couple picks. That doesn't really interest me. Rui and Denny, they don't really interest me just in general. I understand the potential, but they don't really interest me too much. I would like it because we get a couple of small forwards. You get Denny you get a couple of guys who are versatile and can also shoot the ball and can also defend. So they both of those 2 trades aren't horrible. But I think if they were to pull that, like if Christian Wood got traded the first week of the offseason and it was for that, if it was like Peyton Pritchard, Robert Williams, and a first-round pick, I would be, I think we can get way more for him, especially if he has a better season next year, which I really think he will. So this was just kind of a fun little hypothetical. I didn't really know what to expect of it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, hit that sub button. Do this every single day. Thank you, James, if you're still watching this. If you even watched this video, I hope you know I'm not going at you or anything like that. I thought you left a fire-ass comment. Anytime I get fire-ass comments, I definitely make a video about it if it's got enough to go into it. So I really want to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know down below, and I'll see you later.